welcome to the Seeds of Success podcast, hosted by Dottie San Martin and myself, Orla Rivera. This show is your weekly dose of knowledge, insights, and actionable tips to transform centers into striking successes. Whether you're a seasoned industry professional or just stepping onto the lanes, we've got you covered. And Dottie, today we have a very special guest. We have David J, Max Training Specialist. I get to work with David J a lot on, Tech Tip Podcast, which is the other podcast we do here. And but we've never got to do a podcast with all three of us. So I'm excited. Yes. David J, welcome to the show.
I'm excited. David, thank you for your willingness to be on our show. Luckily, Orly didn't scare you away with tech tips, so we're happy to have you on Seeds of Success today.
I'm glad to spread out away just from tech tips, and let's go into something a little more, something that we can share, not just specific tech tips.
Absolutely. Well, the topic of our show today is something that I think is just really interesting and really exciting, and we're really surrounded by it. And that is that today's customers, and really our younger customers and our future customers, are looking for experiences. And really and truly, the ideal thing is they're looking for completely immersive experiences. And you see those out and really everywhere that you look, even back to like the NBA All-Star Weekend, that was, an immersive experience. And others, there's Disney immersive experiences out there. And so bowling centers have the ability to create experiences and immersive experiences too, right? And I think, we have products on the market now where we have the Neoverse where you can absolutely create an immersive experience. And David, I know you've done a lot with the new Neoverse, and that is definitely one way that you can create an immersive experience. And, here we are right before the 4th of July, and you created something really interesting for doing just that, celebrating the 4th of July, that brought an immersive experience through something like Neoverse. Can you share a little bit about that?
Sure, absolutely. And it wasn't just me; it was our entire team, our online creation team. It was a great group effort. And what we've done is we have taken one of our global shows, which is American Anthem, and it's a show on the Neoverse wall, but it has the national anthem as the background music to it. And what we've done is created a playlist to go along with that global show of Americana, other things that we have on the Neoverse wall that we created a playlist, just a suggestion to play during the day on the 4th of July. And then at the end of that playlist, go ahead and add the American Anthem global show right at the end of it. So basically every hour and 15 minutes, we have recreated that experience for everybody in the bowling center.
Oh, and that is definitely a way for the customer to feel like they get in the spirit of things, right? They Absolutely. Feel celebratory, right? And that's amazing to be able to do that all in advance and, be able to create a memory for your customer. And that's really what we're striving for. I mean, even centers or even businesses just as a whole, because this show does go out to others outside of this industry, to create that experience. There's a lot that goes into creating that experience to get the customer to feel like they're a part of what's going on. And you don't have to, you've got to start somewhere, right? So there are even things within just the scoring system that you can start to bring out.
Absolutely. I mean, you don't have to, as we said, start at the top with everything. It doesn't matter where you start. It's a matter of getting started and being able to provide some experience, something special for your guests when they come in into your business. As you said, not just a bowling business, but any business. We're creating memories. And How do we create those memories? I've said all throughout my career in bowling, I've always said we don't necessarily provide something tangible to walk away with. We are creating memories. We are creating experiences. And that's the memory that is going to bring our guests back. And it can start with anything. Just make sure that it's new and it's fresh, and we're not ever stale with what we're providing. As you said with this example with what we did for the 4th of July for the Neoverse, it hasn't been out long, but people tend to find something that they like as a business, and it's an easy thing to just leave it there and keeping things fresh and keeping things. Yep. And so we wanted to make sure that with this and the Neoverse being relatively new, let's provide some suggested content. Let's do a little bit of this work for our customers and allow them to provide that 4th of July experience. And likely we're going to continue to do this all through the year.
Yeah, and different holidays, that would be, that'd be really cool. To me, it reminds me almost of, you mentioned you could kind of replay it back as, when you go to Vegas and you're waiting for that waterfall show or the Treasure Island, the pirate show, like people are going to remember those things. They're going to be like, hey, we have to go back to that bowling center right around 4th of July. They do this cool show. And, and if you're starting to do it for Christmas or Halloween, I think it's going to bring those customers back, and they're going to look forward to that. Kind of like a tradition, hey, we got to go check this out. It's really cool. Every 4th of July, they do this huge show. The music's playing. Yeah, I think it's a really cool thing.
Experiences do drive business for sure. If you're delivering those memorable experiences, that experience is going to get them in more often, and it's going to have them bringing other people because they're going to want to share that experience with others.
It's going to get people asking questions, hey, is it possible to do something like on my kid's birthday with this wall? Or is it possible to do, it's going to get them asking questions, and then you get to explain more of what it can do and how it could, benefit them during one of their parties or one of their corporate parties, or, opens up a whole world of things.
For sure. But I feel that we need to address something when we're talking about experiences and making sure that you are incorporating everything in, the lights, the sound, the color, the music, incorporating everything in to make this memorable experience. There's another factor that must be in play as well. And that's the human element, is that when they come to your center, they can have a wonderful experience on the lanes or whatever, but it can also be dampened if you are not training your staff and making sure that you're setting the proper expectations with your staff, that they are part of that experience and they have to deliver the customer service that you've set forth as your expectation in order for that memory to really be what we're wanting it to be. And so that's a big part of it as well.
We talk about, not necessarily needing the Neoverse or any other of our elements of our scoring to provide an experience. Ultimately, the experience you're providing starts with customer service. And
yes, it does.
And having your staff be able to provide that initial and final experience, because that's the memory that you're walking away with. And then when we start adding other elements while the guest is in your business, in your center, then we're talking about a total experience. You said earlier, where does the experience start? And we have to start it somewhere. Ultimately, we're starting it with our customer service and staff preparedness and making sure that the staff is providing the personal experience first. Then we can let the technology take over. And then at the end, we top it all off with the cherry of the staff being more attentive as they leave than maybe they were even when they walked in.
And the other thing is, another element that plays into the experience is the cleanliness of your center. So if you're bringing in and you're delivering a wonderful experience and you have the latest, greatest technology, and if you walk in and the doors are filthy dirty or the floor is sticky or there's spills on the floor, I don't care what kind of technological experience you're having down on the lanes, that's going to have an impact on the memory that you have. Guaranteed. So,
Absolutely. Who
yeah,
gives the best experience as far as a destination in the world? It's got to be Disney.
Disney. Absolutely.
And and I know that they've got tunnels, and they've got people that sneak out and do things all over the park all day long, and that keeps their parks and their experience top level. And
Right. Yes, I totally agree. And, it sometimes it doesn't take but a tiny bit to go from an okay experience to a really memorable or Insta-worthy. I always call it Insta-worthy. If you make it to Instagram, you're good, right?
yeah,
So to take it that little bit extra and, going that extra mile, there's something to be said about going that extra mile. And that does make a big difference. Well, I think this has been a really good episode, and really the takeaway is look at what you're doing, look at what you're delivering, and figure out what can you do to take that up a notch. Always strive to be taking that experience for your patron, your customer up a notch. And I guarantee you, if you think about it long enough or you powwow with your staff long enough, you're going to come up with a way that you can take what you're doing right now and you can kick it up a notch, right? I
yeah,
think that we could all figure out a way in our even our everyday lives. How can I be a better person, right? I guarantee you there's a multitude of ways that I can be a better person if I put my mind to it. And that's what we want our customers, our listeners to do is look at what you have. If you are fortunate and you have the technology, leverage it, change it, create a different experience every day for your customer. And if not, figure out what you do have at your fingertips. Even if it's your facility, your staff, those are still elements that you have. Leverage them to create that memory for your customers that's walking through the door. Well, gentlemen,
absolutely.
anything else y'all want to add?
I was just gonna say, when it comes to using, your Neoverse wall and listen to people, that's always a big deal too. If they have ideas, like the customers, they might say, "Is it possible to do this?" Or, "Hey, have you ever thought about trying this?" If it's going through their head, why not try it
Yeah,
out? Because somebody else is obviously thinking it too. So yeah, the possibilities are, I believe, endless. So
absolutely. Keep an open mind, right?
yeah.
Well, listeners, thank you so much for joining us today. We really look forward to this show, and we hope you do too. We hope you put us on your calendar for next week for another episode of Seeds of Success as we equip you with more practical tips, ideas, and trends that will help your center grow and achieve new levels of success. Remember to share this podcast with your entire team. The more seeds you plant, the bigger the crop. Until next time, keep growing your business one happy customer at a time.